Once upon a time, in a far-off land, there lived a kind and gentle princess named Lily. She was loved by all who knew her for her sweet nature and generous heart. One day, as she was taking a walk in the forest, she came across a tiny, injured bird lying on the ground. Without hesitation, Lily picked up the bird and brought it back to the castle to care for it. As the days went by, the bird slowly began to heal and regain its strength. One night, while Lily was sleeping, she heard a soft voice calling her name. She opened her eyes and saw the bird perched on her windowsill. "Thank you for saving my life," said the bird. "In return, I will grant you 3 wishes." Lily was overjoyed and thought long and hard about her wishes. Finally, she decided on her first wish: to help the poor villagers in the kingdom. The bird flew away and returned with a chest filled with gold and silver coins, which Lily used to build homes for the villagers in need. For her second wish, Lily asked for the ability to heal any illness or injury. The bird flew away once more and returned with a magical potion that could heal any ailment. As for her third and final wish, Lily wished for happiness for all the people in the kingdom. The bird flew away and returned with a magical spell that spread joy and happiness throughout the land. From that day on, the kingdom was filled with love and kindness, and Princess Lily was remembered for her selflessness and generosity. And the little bird lived happily ever after, knowing that it had made a difference in the world. In a distant kingdom, nestled between tall mountains and rolling hills, there lived a young prince named Alexander. Alexander was known for his bravery and adventurous spirit, and he spent his days exploring the forests and meadows that surrounded the castle. One day, as he was wandering through the woods, Alexander came across a tiny, injured fairy lying on the ground. He picked her up gently and brought her back to the castle to care for her. The fairy was grateful for Alexander's kindness and decided to grant him a wish. "I will give you anything your heart desires," she said. Alexander thought long and hard before making his wish. Finally, he said, "I wish to explore the world and see all the wondrous sights it has to offer." The fairy nodded and smiled, and with a wave of her wand, she transported Alexander to a far-off land filled with wonders and enchantment. There were towering castles and glittering palaces, sparkling seas and soaring mountains, and creatures unlike any Alexander had ever seen before. As he traveled through this magical land, Alexander met many people and creatures, each with their own unique stories and wisdom to share. He saw things he had never imagined possible, and his heart was filled with joy and wonder. Eventually, however, Alexander began to feel homesick. He missed his family and friends, and longed to return to his own kingdom. He asked the fairy if she could take him back, and with another wave of her wand, Alexander was back in his own kingdom, surrounded by the familiar sights and sounds of home. From that day on, Alexander knew that there was a whole world waiting to be explored, filled with adventure and beauty beyond his wildest dreams. And he vowed to one day return to that magical land and continue his journey of discovery. In a small village nestled in a valley, there lived a little girl named Rose. Rose was kind and gentle, and loved nothing more than tending to the flowers in her garden. Every day, she would spend hours outside, watering and caring for her beloved flowers. One day, as Rose was tending to her garden, she noticed a small, sickly plant in a corner of her yard. She knew that this plant needed extra care and attention, so she began to tend to it every day, giving it extra water and nutrients. As time passed, the plant began to grow stronger and taller, its leaves turning from a sickly yellow to a vibrant green. And one day, much to Rose's surprise, the plant blossomed into the most beautiful flower she had ever seen. Its petals were a deep shade of pink, and they shimmered in the sunlight. The flower was so magnificent that Rose decided to enter it into the village's annual flower competition. She carefully picked the flower and brought it to the competition, where it was judged against all the other flowers in the village. To Rose's great joy, her flower won first prize. Everyone in the village was amazed by the beauty of the flower, and they asked Rose how she had managed to grow such a magnificent plant. Rose simply smiled and replied, all it needed was a little love and care. And from that day on, Rose's garden became the most beautiful and well-loved garden in the village. People came from all around to see her stunning flowers, and Rose became known as the village's greatest gardener. But Rose never forgot the lesson she had learned from her sickly plant. She knew that all living things, no matter how small or insignificant, needed love and care in order to thrive and blossom into something beautiful.